Township Board meeting. Today is April 18th, 2016, and the meeting is at 1440 Rochester Road. We can all stand for the pledge, please. Ed, you're a veteran. Go right ahead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I go say a blessing. Dear Lord, guide us with your wisdom and make us make the right decisions in your name. In the Lord's name we pray. Amen.
Okay, we have roll call, please.
Yes, Addison.
Here.
Garrett. Yes. Edward Field.
Yes, here.
John Beamer.
Present.
Lori Fisher. Here. Bennett present. Supervisor Pearson.
Here. All comments. Any announcements?
No.
Any petitions? Department reports. As usual, they're available in my office. Just ask for them. Approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Any questions?
But is there any sense on the consent agenda moving E down to be considered with or after item 4?
Normally, if you remove something from the consent agenda, it immediately follows the consent agenda.
Pardon me?
It immediately follows the consent agenda.
What does?
The item that you're removing to act on separately.
So E would have to become number 2.
Would have to? Well, then I
This
guess,
is the one that was more or less we.
I'm familiar with it from the past. I just wondered if it made sense, because once you opt out of the one, it's almost like the other one becomes perfunctory, right? I mean, to consider it separately,
You
but
could still change the percentage of the employees would put in if you chose to do so.
This is just an opt-out, though.
That's of the Obamacare, right?
No, this is the opt-out that we participate with the state for 20% across
Oh,
the board for
gotcha.
the employees. So we're saying that we choose to opt out of that.
Okay, does anybody have any discussion on that? None?
Now go ahead and make the motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
And do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. And there's no more questions on that. We have a roll call on that, please.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Lydia Garrett. Yes. John Erickson.
Yes.
John Beamer.
Aye.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, move on to item number 2, resolution to reauthorize the fire capital millage. Chief,
No, I think they're out
they're out
of
of
the
the call. The fire chief and the fire board recommend to renew the .75 mil, which is for the capital millage, which is separate from the operating millage. And as you know, it's been rolled back to the .7320, but they always bring it back up to the .75. And I concur that keeping that the the 3/4 mil, I think is the proper way to do this. Don't they have any questions on this?
I'd like to move the resolution to reauthorize the fire capital millage as it's the only capital millage available to the fire department. Support.
Any comments?
Public will decide.
Pardon?
The public will decide.
Yeah, there you go. There's no further comments on this, but a roll call on this, please.
John Beamer.
Aye.
Lydia Garrett. Yes. Erickson.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, that passes. Move on to item number 3, resolution for an amendment to the Oakland County Sheriff's Office 2016 Law Enforcement Services with Addison Township. This is a proposed amendment to bring back the one deputy that we had rescheduled on the midnight shift. And during the recession, we had made some adjustments, and we filled it with overtime with our guys. And now we have enough to bring back another deputy on midnight shift, which would bring the up to 2 deputies. And what I'm suggesting, we make these the no-fill deputies. So when one deputy takes the day off or vacation or whatever, we don't have to replace them. There'll still be one on there. We do have the surrounding communities who help us for backup. But this is another way of saving money, and it's in line with our budget. And our budget is in a very healthy situation now, and so bringing that one deputy back. And we did this as an austerity budget last time when we were having concerns to make sure that we didn't have to raise taxes whatsoever. And now we're back in a good position. So my recommendation is that we bring the one deputy back as a no-fill. Any questions?
Would that mean an adjustment to our original 2016-17 budget?
No, we have that included.
It was
in
built
there.
in,
Yes.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was looking at the numbers and it's almost like we're at the same, close to the same from last year to this year, just based on the overtime. That was close.
It is, it's really close to doing the addition.
Well, Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to go ahead and make that resolution, motion for the resolution for an amendment to the Oakland County Sheriff's Office 2016 Law Enforcement Services for Addison Township.
Full support?
Okay, we have a motion and support. Any further comments?
No.
If there are no comments, we'll roll call now, please.
Eric Stine.
Yes.
John Baker.
Aye.
Lynn Garrett.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, the resolution is so moved. We'll move on to item number 4, which is the resolution adopting the 2016-17 healthcare benefits that include healthcare, vision, dental, with life, long-term, short-term disability, employee contribution, and in lieu of benefits. According to Mr. Bomarito, who happens to be our agent, he says that we should hopefully come in between 5 and 6% increase. But if we do a resolution of 7.5, I think that we'll be safe. Our employees are excellent employees, and I really think that they deserve this. It's not, nothing's changed from the last year, except of the increase of 5 or 6%, which I'm truly happy with, considering what we've had in the past.
And that again fits into our budget.
Yes.
I'm surprised that he's able to keep it this low, so that sounds pretty good.
Well, if I could ask, you, Lori, and Pauline really getting involved with this more than the trustees. What is your comment?
My comment is, I'm very happy that it was only 5 or 6%. I'm envisioning like we had in the past, it was
Double
15%
digits,
or
yeah.
whatever. This is very good. And I did have a meeting with the fire department, and they're extremely happy with the one they have. They said if we could keep that one, we'd be extremely happy. So we have a very good plan in place right now, and they did stick with us through all the hard times when we didn't have the money for the stuff. This one is a very good plan, and it comes in at a reasonable rate, and they're happy with it. That's what counts.
Well, I know that Mr. Bomarito has been with us for years and years, and you know, very trustworthy fellow. So if you guys feel
We
good
shopped
about it,
around for a while, and then we switched companies, and it didn't work out so well.
well, I'll go ahead and make that motion for the resolution adopting 2016-17 healthcare benefits. If you want me to read the whole thing, I will. But I want to be specific, for the benefit group with an estimated 7.5% increase in my motion.
Okay.
I'll second that.
And we have a second. Any further discussion?
Would that be a not to exceed? I mean, we've just got an estimated increase. I mean, what if it went over?
If it comes over 7.5, we're gonna have to bring it back.
Bring it back.
But it just says an estimated amount. Is it?
We can adjust that.
I'll make my motion not to exceed 7.5.
Can I just change the resolution, amend the resolution to, instead of say estimate, not to exceed?
Yeah.
Great.
As long as it's okay with the
Okay, so
second.
we had a change in it, and then who seconded it? Eric, do you want to second that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Not hearing any other comments? We have a roll call on that, please.
John Baker.
Aye.
Eric Stine.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. The resolution is so moved. Now we're on to item number 5, which is the NODA Articles of Incorporation. As you know, NODA is the North Oakland Transportation Authority. When they started this, they never quite finished the authority part. And so Mr. Davis and I recognized this, and I asked Mr. Davis to clean up the language in the notice, the NODA part of it. And so he came down to the NODA meeting, and I talked to the other two supervisors, Chris Barnett and Bill Dunn, and we all agreed that when this was incorporated, or when we started this, and this was back when Larry Olbrich was in charge of it, and we never quite finished the part of the, even though it does say North Oakland Transportation Authority, they never crossed the T's and dotted the I's, okay? This doesn't change anything on the NODA authority. What it does, okay, is it makes it so that all three townships are part of this authority, and the taxing goes through a vote of all three townships. There is still an opt-out. 2/3 of the board can opt out, and there's specifications in there on how long you have to wait to opt out of it. Or you can go to 2/3 of the NODA board and opt out that way. Or you can go to the vote of the people. I think it's 20% of the electorate of the governor's race can sign a petition to opt out. So there are different ways to opt out of this. So that doesn't change anything. That being said, we still have our members on the NODA board, we're voting members. So NODA, as you know, has been probably the best run transportation system in all of Oakland County, probably southeast Michigan. I mean, their service far outdoes what the others do. We won't get that kind of service, and I don't know what's going to happen with SMART or whatever in the future, but we'll never get that kind of service down our back roads and everything with SMART. We may get a trunk line somewhere around, but we won't get the private service. So as of right now, NODA is the best thing we have to offer to our citizens.
I think since we're moving so fast on this thing, I think it would be a good idea for the public if Pauline would read all 12 pages of the article in preparation. Slow.
That's slow.
Into her new shaving machine.
I have a question, if I may, Supervisor. You say opting out, but I also thought I read something and understood it that NODA then can come and as well put a ballot issue on our ballot of their choosing, right? Because they'll have the authority to do that as well, which they didn't necessarily in the past. They had to go through the board. Am I right?
Well, no, they did do that before. They can go.
But that was
through
their,
NODA. Yes, they can still go through NODA. And this is just cleaning up the language.
Yeah, I follow that. But, and again, if the people of the township decided they didn't want the service, as just recently had happened prior elections, that would also release us of an obligation as a township, right? Or no?
No, you become a region. That means all three townships become the authority. If we want out of that, we can by the vote of 2/3 of our vote, and we notify them that we want out of or 20% of the electorate of our electorate who voted in the last governor's race can sign a petition and get us out, or we can petition NODA and 2/3 of their vote can let us out. So
20% of the electorate, the vote of the people of the township, you're saying?
Yes, 20% of the people who voted in the governor's race, if they get that many people sign a petition, then we can present that to NODA, and they have to let us out also. So the people have an option, this board has an option, and NODA has an option.
But if I'm understanding this correctly, the way that it was structured in the last election, each separate community voted to stay in or not with NODA. This changes it where it's regional. So let's say we had a low number of votes, but Oxford and Orion had a high number. Oxford, Addison,
now part of the region, right. But we do have options if we decide that we don't agree with it, that we can get out.
So we as a board take on that responsibility.
So if we think something's unreasonable, we just say we don't want to be part of the authority anymore, but we have to take the proper action to do that.
We would have to vote as the board.
Yes. And then,
sorry, if we had to vote, if we voted as a board, I'm still slightly unclear on how all this works. So would we take it to NODA, and then 2/3 of that board would have to agree as well to let us out, correct?
Well, I don't think that's how it goes. I think it's 2/3 of our board, but you do have to, there's three options, okay? You can go and ask for 2/3 of their board to let us out, or we go with a petition and say that 2/3 of our board wants out, and that would be a way of getting out also. I think there's three ways of getting out of it,
It requires us to vote and then also the 2/3.
and then the 2/3.
So both have to agree to it or the
Yeah.
vote of the people.
On the termination from Bob's, it says, "We vote," and then after we vote, 2/3 of the members of the serving on the board of the public authority. So
Okay.
it's two votes.
So
And
if-
they then say, "Okay, get out."
Or we can go by the 20% and then it goes on our election.
Then it goes by or the people themselves can petition, and it is 20% of the governor in the last election, and then it gives us the language that would have to be on the ballot.
And they could, so there are two ways of getting out of it.
Other communities, Oxford and Lincoln in the villages.
But this is what we're doing right now. Is, Bob came to the meeting, Bob Davis, and he presented this, and he said, take this back to your boards, have them look it over, and if they agree with it, then it will be brought back to NODA. Then the NODA board, which Lori and I are on the NODA board, we will all discuss it with all three townships. Then once NODA says we have a final picture, because they may have questions also, and when they finally say we have a consensus, then it will be sent back to our board for a vote to see if we agree with it.
So do we take action on this today?
Well, we should take action in the sense that we either agree to go forward so that NODA can go forward. There's no use going forward if we don't agree. I mean, my recommendation is that this was, all this stuff was never cleaned up back when this was started. And this should be cleaned up. And there's still, there still is a way of getting out of this and everything like that. That's not the problem. But we have no other service for our people out here. I don't know what we would do without NODA for our seniors and disabled people. You just can't call a taxi cab. You can't. I truly don't know what they would do. And as of right now, NODA is the best run. I have all the faith in it.
After the meeting, did you and Bob sit down and just talk?
Yes,
What was his feeling? What was
Bob
his-
says this is necessary to go forward with this.
I mean, if he was sitting next to John, he'd be telling us, "I think it's fine, just move forward."
Yeah.
Because we miss him sitting there, we miss him sitting down there, but
He recommended this, yes, and he gave a nice speech at NODA, and he said this is what you need to clean this up and make it an actual authority, which it states it is.
So it's
Well,
basically making
yeah.
us all a region, all together in it.
What you have to understand is that, I looked at it and I said, Lori and I are on the board there, but they buy all these vehicles together. They've got to have some way of knowing how to project 5 years from now how many vehicles. They get into contracts and they sign for, this last time when we were out for a while, well then they said, oh, now we have to cut drivers and do we stop the ordering of the new vehicles? Do we stop routes now? At least this way, there's some cohesion here that they can project, because if you notice, it says you get out of this, not that day, you get out when your obligation is finished. So with a 3-year contract, you have to fulfill your contract and then you're out. So at least they have time to project on how they're gonna buy vehicles, because these vehicles that they get from Smart, they order them, it takes a year to get them, And so they have to project when these other ones get too many miles on them, how many they need to order.
Just like our chief does with his capital.
Right, so I mean, in all fairness to NODA, for Lynn to run, Gustafson to run an efficient program there's got to be something in writing that we all have some stake in this thing.
I'm ready to go ahead and make a motion that I'd like to have authority to supervisor and Lori, since she sits on the board, to notify NODA that we've decided to move forward with articles of incorporation. Is that good enough?
I would say so, because it will come back to us now in a finished form, and then we'll all read it in its entirety.
Right.
Do they just want questions or comments right now, or what?
They just want our support that we're gonna move forward now,
I would
so.
second Ed's motion.
Okay, then we have a motion that we are willing to go forward with this,
Yeah.
and we'll review the final, and I'll have Mr. Davis come that meeting and
Yeah,
explain
that
to
might be a
our
good
board
idea.
what this all means to us.
But I think we can all agree that we need the transportation, especially in a community where the demographic shows that we're all gonna get older. And, you know,
The way Bruce explained it.
another retiree right
You
here.
need to know, if
Someday
you're going to
maybe.
be buying cars and trucks and
So-
something, you don't want to lay all this promise out and then find out.
I think it's a good thing to have transportation.
Stranded. It makes a lot of sense.
I do.
I think
Not
roads are
offensive.
important for the people in this community, I really do. We don't have the service.
And I think it's, and if you look at our
It's not that
demographic, we have
expensive.
a lot of retired people here, and if you want to still live in this community,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to have transportation
Yes,
sometime.
especially if you want to take advantage of some of the facilities that are within our area, okay? Provide a means to get there.
What happened last time when we didn't have that notice
Right.
service? There were many people that were stranded, they had to leave their homes.
Right,
And what would happen with that long term?
right. So that, you know, that identified a need, and I still see in the future, you know, I think that you're going to see a bigger need.
I think so too, and I think that maybe we'll be able to take advantage of OPC down in Rochester and have a note of us here for that
Right.
too. And, so we had a motion, we had a second, any further comments?
Pauline, did you have questions or comments about it? Because I believe at the next meeting, we would be addressing.
I had two, but I really took my time last time I read, and my one question was about what happens if a ballot fails, which, when you read it slow, it answers, we're going to be together, and the other one was to opt out. Because that has to be in there, a mechanism to opt out has to be in there in case we have to do it. And it's there, so. Otherwise, I think this was written very, very plainly, it's good article.
Okay.
I would like to see the opt-out control a little bit stronger at the township end of it.
It's under
But
state
this
law.
is under the rule, this is the,
That's what I did, I pulled out the state law to find out how to opt out, and it's state law, so I don't know what we could put in here that would change it, unless it's something to do with the ballot language, which I don't know if that's possible to change if you're an authority. So,
okay, could we have roll call on this, please?
Ed Rickman.
Yes.
Lynn
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
John Baker.
Aye.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Yes, Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Thank you very much. Public forum. You got anything there, Commander of the Addison Township Sheriff Substation?
Well, actually, I do. We've implemented the system again of the house checks, and the extra patrols. So I just wanted to let you know that we've been getting a lot of positive feedback from the residents.
Positive.
Real positive.
Real positive.
The deputies have really taken it upon themselves to go out on each shift, days, afternoons, and midnights, and conduct these house checks. And I think that the public is really appreciative of that. So we'll continue to push that. If you know anyone that's in the community that's going on vacation or just out of town for a few days and they'd like to have the house check, it is available to them. They just need to come in, fill out a quick form, and we'll make sure that their residence or property is checked on a timely basis. So reach out, let everybody know.
What's a house check consist of?
I have,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, go right ahead on that one though, and I have another question, but
A typical house check that the department would do, what does it consist
So
of?
we have a form that, let's say you're going out of town from today's date for a week. You come in, you fill out the form, you put down your name, your address, any contact information, vehicles that should be in the driveway, if you have anyone that's going to be checking on the home, feeding your pets, planting, watering your plants,
Yeah.
that sort of thing, you let us know. You give us a contact telephone number, emergency number to contact you. The deputies will come out. If there's an alarm on the house, they'll check the exterior of the home, make sure everything's secure. They'll check the grounds to make sure if you have any outbuildings that they're secure. And if they find anything that's unusual or suspicious in nature, they'll contact the homeowner or the emergency contact person. So it gives you some peace of mind while you're out of town that there's a uniformed vehicle and a patrol deputy checking the residence.
You said if there's an alarm on the house, not, you check it independent of an alarm,
Correct.
is what I thought I heard.
Yes.
Okay.
So, what I found is a lot of people still don't have alarms on their homes,
Mhm.
burglary alarms or intrusion alarms, so it's good to have the deputies come out and check.
Mhm. Thank you.
Do they feed horses while they're there?
I'm sure there's maybe one or two deputies that could do
They
that.
take care of the stalls, do
Right.
Thanks for asking that one.
Well, you know my comment. You guys were fantastic while we were gone. Derek, my son, staying at our house. Well, I didn't put Derek down, I put Fred Ashley was gonna be taking care of the horses. They were extremely polite when they asked Derek to show me ID, because Derek was in the house. I'm Ed's son, show me, prove it to me.
Did you have money to bond them out?
And he was very, I'm saying it all worked so professionally, so
That's
Derek
good.
was not intimidated. He called and said, "You guys have great protection here." And what's going on? He said, well, the officer came up to the house, and when he came out, he said, I'm his son. He said, show me your ID, and everything was good. And I got to tell you, it was a nice warm feeling that you guys were watching my house every day I was gone.
Yeah.
So,
And we have a great sheriff's department, no doubt about it. I have one other thing, if you could just tell people to lock their cars up. I know that even in the rural area, we're starting to have larceny from autos, people we didn't get hit bad. I know that the surrounding communities, I find out, got hit heavily on our border. They're going into unlocked cars and stealing the computers and everything, and people out here always think that, oh, I can just leave my car. Matter of fact, they stole a car too, right?
Right by
That was
the,
from our area?
That was not from Addison Township.
That was from
Oregon
Oregon.
Township.
Yeah, but right on our border, so,
Yeah.
we just need to let people know that every time, even out in the rural area, lock your cars. And there have been B&Es in the surrounding areas, the breaking and enterings into the homes. We did not have any yet,
We had one,
up in the northeast
since,
section,
let's see, December in the north end.
in the north end. So, once again, we have a very good sheriff's department because the other communities are getting hit. But I will say, I'll tell you, the sergeant here, he went through the pawn slips, and he's done a good job. He keeps the tabs on everything that goes in our area and everything, and he solved some major crimes that way just recently, so. But anyways, good job.
Very useful tool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very
No,
much.
thank you, and spread the
Thank you.
word.
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
That's good
Okay,
service.
Addison Township Board reports, you have any? Nobody on the board's got a report?
No cases
Legal
on the
report from
CBA.
County Communications, Supervisor's report. The only thing I can tell you is that number one, you see the asphalt is coming tomorrow, so the parking lot's gonna be paved. I'm gonna have them, he's striping that one now. I'm just gonna have them stripe the whole parking lot so it all matches. I figured that while they're here, instead of hodgepodging it, let them do it so it all looks good, because then they'll clean the asphalt and do the other parking lot as well as this one.
Are they gonna put a new top coat on the old parking lot?
Not yet, we have to find somebody, a big truck or something to ride over here and blame it on them, so.
Oh,
But I did talk to them about that today, and they did say, don't just put a top coat on it, actually bring the grinder in, grind it, and keep your base, and then put a top coat on it.
Oh,
Then you don't have to
right,
raise
yeah.
those drains and everything, so that, I think, is a few years down the road. Landscaping is coming in, there is gonna be outside, and you see the orange marking there, we're gonna put a few things out here, but he said it will be green side up by the opening date, okay, so.
that's a good thing.
So, other than that, we do have to water the trees tonight. We got any deputies that are in the
I
water?
heard the fire department is handling it.
I do have the hydrant over here, and I did save a hose, so we have to water those.
Call in the
They got the
fire.
equipment.
So other than that, do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next meeting is May 16th.